Kind of a difficult week for the Indianapolis Colts defense, a difficult week for the entire organization, but the defense played well. And Gus Bradley, who's been ridiculed throughout the season for playing soft, that defense wasn't soft on Sunday against the Broncos. They played well. Zaire Franklin played really, really well. That defense played up to their capabilities. They generated turnovers. They stopped the Broncos on third down. A lot of good things happened. However, you come out of that game with a loss. What's Gus Bradley do to keep this defensive train kind of moving in the right direction emotionally and physically? And what's he think has led to Zaire Franklin playing as well as he has?
Gus, how would you assess the way Zaire played this past game, like one of the best games of his career, and how he's taken ownership of kind of trying to right the ship on defense?
Yeah, he's done a great job. I don't know where to start with him just because, I think we all appreciate him. He's got the green dot. He makes all the checks, gets us in the right coverages. And last week there was multiple times, he checked us out of things and got us into the good calls. So, that part of it. And then on top of it, to be on the details of the position, he's really played pretty well. I mean, look at the New England game, right? He caused a fumble on the 1 yard interception through tight coverage. So, yeah, he's playing at a pretty high level for us right now.
Joel?
With Jalen Jones, I know he's been kind of up and down this year, but it felt like Denver really tried to go at him with Sutton, and he played pretty well against it. What did you see from him in that matchup?
Yeah, I think that's great, Joel. You're right. I think in the beginning of the year we were talking about, boy, we're around guys, but you don't see many pass breakups or opportunities to get interceptions. We like to get tighter with our corners, and it just whether it was a slant. I know he had a holding call on one, but it just looks like it's getting stickier out there for us. And, I think he's challenging himself through the bye week. When we took a look at self-scout, some of those things came up, on the perimeter. So it was good to see that, some of those things were corrected.
Kent?
Hey, Gus, is there a best practice for moving past a game like Sunday? Is there a quick reset button that coaches can hit, or is this it's just got to kind of filter its way out?
It is tough. Usually, Kent, when you see our players like on a Monday, it's pretty tough. It's pretty somber. After a game like that, they're pretty quiet. But then when you start getting into the tape. Oh, okay. Yeah, I said the guys like Zaire, Kenny, those guys will all be in today, watching tape, asking questions. So, they recover pretty quickly as they have to, being a professional. So, we've always said that a professional is a man who gets the job done no matter how he feels inside. And, that we've got to move past it and learn from it and then get ready for our next opponent.
Thanks, Gus.
Thanks for circling back. We'll go to JJ.
Gus, what has DeForest Buckner been able to kind of do this year? Obviously he had the injury earlier in the year. He kind of fights through it. What have you just seen out of him? Because I feel like sometimes we maybe take him a little bit for granted, at least on the outside.
Yeah, I think we all do, JJ. First of all, his play, right? He gets a sack in the game. He's disruptive. You can see him turn the protection to him at times. So, he gets a lot of attention by offensive teams. But the consistency that he brings, he's our guy that, will say, hey, we need to talk as a team or as a unit and, make sure we're all on the same page. He handles it on the sideline. He takes accountability. He had a play where he messed up in the game. I came over to him and he said it was completely on him. He's got that humility. So many attributes. He's one of our strongest leaders on our whole team, regardless just defense.
You've been with him through, a losing season in 2022, a winning season last year. Just how important is it that he kind of keeps that same steady mentality? He still prepares the same way, regardless of where the team is in the standings.
He is that, JJ, but he's one that it hits pretty hard as well. In the playoffs, going for the big trophy, and he can get disappointed and upset just like all of us. But he does bounce back, and he's a true pro. And when we get back together on Wednesday, you know what you're getting from him.
Kevin?
Hey Gus, it seemed like you guys really flourished kind of those sudden change situations on Sunday. What is your coaching point when you guys encounter that stuff?
Well, I think it's always an opportunity to demonstrate our mentality, to go out in the field and, show that, to say, hey, regardless where the ball is, our job is to get the ball back for the offense and keep the points off the scoreboard. And, they see it as a challenge. And regardless if it's on the 10-yard line or the 40-yard line, we try to have that same mentality. But, I credit them. I don't think it's anything we say as coaches. I think it's the character of our defensive players that they have that mentality, and it's kind of been spread throughout the whole group.
We'll do two more. We'll go Joel and then Chap.
Gus, that's probably, well, I know you guys lost the game, but that's probably one of your better defensive performances of the season. What stuck out about why that game was different, and maybe where have you guys, what did you guys need to do to be more consistent throughout the season?
Sure. I think the bye week, it helped us in that we kind of had time to self-scout. There were a lot of meetings on the side where we'd bring 2 players in, 3 players in, 1 player in, and kind of look at some of the things that we saw in self-scout and said, hey, this is a little bit of an issue. We need to get this corrected. And, when you can watch tape and you have a little bit of time, I think that refocuses our group. So I think that part was good. And we were fresher. I think that part. And then the run game, it was, hey, we are a team that, defends the run on the way to the quarterback, but enough is enough. And, we've got to do things right as a group. Everybody's got to build that trust, know where guys are going to be, and let's make a conscious effort to really, really slow down that run game and make them one-dimensional. And I thought our guys did a great job with that.
We'll take our last question from Chap.
How you doing, Gus? With Zaire, it seems like he's probably had as many tackles or more tackles than any player over the last, 3 years. Have you seen his game maybe elevate somewhat with the tackles for loss, an interception here, there, a sack? Is that what's kind of taken his game to the next level, I guess?
I think that's a great, observation. He is a guy that, here he is in cover 2. He's running down the middle of the field, and then we'll utilize him on a blitz. We played more man coverage this past week, and so he was matched up with some of the tight ends. So, we've always talked to our players about, greedy opportunities, and, they don't happen very often in a game, but the interception that he had was a greedy opportunity, where if everything came together and he felt that, he could trust what was going to happen in the back end, he could take a chance. And he did that. And I think he's just, all of our guys, I think the more and more they play in the system, the more and more they're getting comfortable when to take their chances and when to get so-called greedy. And, I think he's really got a good understanding. When you're calling the defense out there, based on formation and plays and things like that. He has a pretty good understanding. I think he's playing faster because of that. And because, some of those things you're talking about, Chappie, the tackle for loss are really starting to show up.
Crazy follow-up. Can tackles be overrated? You can have a bunch of tackles and really not get much done.
I don't know. There's certain positions in our defense that are going to be around the ball a lot. The Mike linebacker is going to be around the ball a lot and have a lot of opportunities. The strong safety is going to have a lot of opportunities. But you have to take advantage of those opportunities as well, and I think that's what Zaire is doing.
There's Gus Bradley talking about the defense, and he has reason to be proud of those guys. They played well, and talking about the comfort level of that system and playing faster within it, a reason that Zaire Franklin has played better of late, especially in that game against Denver. Interesting stuff. Also interesting talking about, the emotional reset that's got to take place before Sunday when they play against the Tennessee Titans at home. Fans, look, you can't year after year after year tell the fans that this is potentially a playoff team and not make the playoffs. Fans are getting a little upset. They're getting a little bit impatient. Going to be interesting to see what happens on Sunday. Can the coaching staff and the players from within that locker room pivot this thing to the point where they play a really good game, a solid game, a focused game on Sunday against a lesser opponent?